All right, George, you're live.
Okay, thank you. Number one, I apologize for the delay, but I'd like to call the November voting session meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Colleen, please call roll.
Mr. Ambrose,
Present.
Ms. Bel Castro,
Here.
Mr. Bloom,
Here.
Mr. King,
Yes, here.
Mr. Moab,
Here.
Mr. O'Neill,
Here.
Mr. Ross,
Here.
Dr. Eunice,
Here.
Mr. Zaretsky.
Here. Under routine items, I'd like to turn it over to Pete.
Yes, I have a couple executive session announcements to make. First, since the last meeting, the board met in conference on October 28th to receive information from the all-day kindergarten study committee. During that time period, the board simply received information and made no deliberation. I believe Ms. Belcastro has further information on that later. On November 17th, the board participated in a conference call with Dr. Perry for the purpose of receiving information related to COVID levels in Beaver County and the district, and to hear Dr. Perry's recommendation to move to virtual learning for the period of December 1st to December 11th. And finally, the board met in executive session from about 6 to 7:20 tonight to discuss personnel matters, particularly leave requests by certain personnel and other confidential matters not subject to the public.
Okay, thank you. Public comment on agenda items. I know that it is open. I will read the two that are in here, and then we will run through the agenda. And if there's more questions that came in, once again, I apologize to people that were waiting to stream on, which Amanda Rogers from 3152 Main Street. Is there a link for the live stream, Ed, on the website? Okay, just on the website, it was just not up. We were in executive session. Apologize for that again. Kristen Milanovic, 108 Park Drive. Is the stream unavailable for tonight's meeting? And once again, no, we apologize. Executive session ran a little bit longer, and in the future, if that would happen, we'll go with Mr. Miller and post something on where that is. So we do apologize, and those are the only two questions at this point in time. Under minutes, we're looking to approve the voting session minutes from the October 22nd, 2020 meeting, which is found on attachment A. I'm looking for a motion on item 1. Mr. Bloom, second, Mr. Moad. Is there any discussion on item 1? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We're going to move to the treasurer's report. Mr. King.
Following bills and reports are submitted for approval. A, pay bills. Number 1, confirm the October 2020 general fund payments in the amount of $3,191,784.00. Attachment B. Number 2, confirm the October 2020 cafeteria fund payments in the amount of $36,630.55. Attachment C. B, to approve the October 2020 Berkheimer report. Attachment D.
Okay.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. King, second. Mr. Moad, any discussion on item 1? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. As of right now, we did only have the 2 public comments, so we will continue under agenda items. Under board policy items, we're looking for number 1 to approve resolution 2020-04 for the 2021-2022 joint purchasing program with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit, which is found on attachment E. I'm looking for a motion on item 1. Mr. King, second, Mr. Ross. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. King, anything under negotiations?
Nothing.
All right. We're going to turn it over to education. Ms. Belcastro.
Okay. Number 1, to approve the release time, staff development request. In the graph, you see the conference location, those individuals who will be attending, and the dates. And I have an FYI for for our delay in this meeting tonight. The district has spent significant time in the feasibility of implementing all-day kindergarten in Central Valley. After a lengthy process, the committee is prepared to present its findings to the public. During the January voting meeting, we will present and ask the board to vote on whether or not to move forward with this project. We invite the public to provide input to the board prior to the meeting and hope that the community members will attend to January positions.
Okay, thank you. Looking for a motion on item 1. Mr. Ross, second, Mr. King. Any discussion on item 1? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything with technology, Dr. Yunus?
The only thing I could say is the department's primed for the move to all virtual,
Wonderful.
ready to serve more public and help our children get to this. Our parents
Word of the day.
prime.
Okay, primed. All right. Athletics, Mr. O'Neill.
Number one, to approve the following winter coaching staff and stipends pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances. We have boys basketball, a volunteer assistant coach to be decided. Johnny George will coach the 8th grade as the head coach. William Powell, volunteer assistant middle school coach. Girls basketball still to be decided. Wrestling, Matt Dickinson as an assistant varsity coach. Salaries are listed there on the right. And also we completed the exit interviews for all the fall coaches. Mr. Chacon, I think we hit them all, didn't we?
Correct, yes.
So we'll probably wait until the January meeting to put them on to be kept on staff. I'm asking for I'll make the motion.
All right. Motion by Mr. O'Neill, second by Mr. Bloom. Any discussion on item 1? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. With everything going on, Mr. Ross, anything with extracurricular activity?
Not at this time, Mr. President.
Mr. Moad, Building and Grounds.
Just one item to approve the building usage request is listed pending final approval of the superintendent and with review of their health and safety plan and liability waiver sign off.
Okay, motion on item 1. Ms. Belcastro, second, Mr. Moad. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Bloom, Personnel.
Yes, sir. Number 1, to approve a motion to rescind the job offer to Edward Kilson for the position of full-time custodian for failure to show up on a designated start date or any date since then for this position, effective immediately. Number 2, to approve Beth Hughes as a paraprofessional at a rate of $13.50 an hour in accordance with the CVSD agreement, pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances, effective November 20th, 2020. I defer to Pete.
Going to assist Mr. Bloom on the last 2 motion items here. The first is a motion to approve the request of Megan Roperti to take expanded FMLA leave under the FFCRA for a defined period beginning December 1 and expiring on December 11th. The district reserves the right to refuse any request to rescind this leave. The second or the fourth motion under personnel items is a motion to approve the request of Nicole Steffler to take an unpaid leave of absence with a return to work date of January 4, 2021. The district also reserves the right to refuse any request to rescind that leave.
Okay, so to clarify that from the agenda that was published, number 3 was removed and that we have a motion on items 1 through 4. Is that accurate?
So moved.
Okay, so move Mr. Bloom. Second, Mr. King. Any discussion? Mr. O'Neill?
One question, that extension of the leave, that has been an ongoing thing, hasn't it?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Ambrose, finance items.
Thank you. The Finance Committee yesterday, which includes Mr. Moad, Mr. Yunus, and myself, along with Dr. Perry and Mr. Maley, we met to review a preliminary budget for the 21-22 school year. And it's going to be presented next month for preliminary approval. And as usual, Mr. Maley did a great job under the supervision of Dr. Perry. So we're moving forward on that.
Okay, thank you. And I know that the Finance Committee is going to be a part of the presentation
Yes.
in conjunction with the kindergarten under the Education Committee. And if you've been wondering, we're able to mute Dr. Perry, which why you haven't heard him. He's been talking a lot over there, but we've had him on mute. So we'll unmute you for superintendent comments, Dr. Perry.
First of all, I think Mr. Malley I'm under his supervision, not mine. I apologize. I had to attend virtually tonight due to circumstances with regards to contact with COVID. Therefore, I don't have COVID, but I am required to quarantine. So that's why I am working from home today. So I want to thank the community and the staff. I apologize that, we're moving to, a remote situation with regards to learning over the next couple of weeks after break. It is certainly our hope, our intent to get our kids back in school as quickly as possible. I realize that this puts, a burden on the community, but more importantly, I don't think it's the best learning environment for all of our students. But we want to do what we think is safe for our students, for our community, based on, as we said in our health and safety plan from day one, we would follow the recommendations from the Department of Health as well as PDE. PDE came out and called for a conference call with all the schools in Beaver County over the last week, and based on the health metrics in community spread, made the recommendation that all schools should go to remote learning at this point in time. And that's what we did and we're going to do. We'll continue to follow those matrix, which are publicly published every week on the community spread piece, and know that we're going to do the best we can under the virtual environment to provide the best education possibly that we can. For those who've been learning synchronously already, nothing should change for you. For those who have been in the classroom, nothing should change for you other than the fact that we'll be going synchronous. We realize that it's probably more of a burden on our youngest learners than our oldest learners, but we're going to do the best we can to make this be the best that it possibly can be. With our hopes, as I said, is moving back into a face-to-face environment as quickly as possible. Also, that being said, and also I'll do the best I can to give, notice of when we have the ability to shift back into our hybrid learning situation that we've really had success since the beginning of the year. Additionally, you may have read in the paper that the district has received about $81,500 in safety grant money. We applied for $21,480 for some cameras and door security, as well as $60,000 towards our school resource officer program. I want to personally thank Mr. Dolph, Mr. Eimiller for their work putting together those grants and receiving those grants, and also Mr. Malley for helping with the budget side of those things. So that all being said, I wish everybody in the community a healthy Thanksgiving break. Obviously, it's not ideal for our country where we are right now. I want to remind folks about the travel advisories that have been put out by the Department of Health, and make sure that people are being prudent and follow those rules, and being honest with the district with regards to keeping their children home if indeed you do travel and or getting the tests, those types of things. If we get back into face-to-face learning, when we get back into face-to-face learning. And, as always, continue to ask the community to do the best you can to make sure that we're mitigating outside of the school. I think we've done a great job mitigating within the school. I think our numbers show that based on information from the Department of Health from the PDE, which I'm sure came from the Department of Health. Of all the COVID cases in Beaver County, 84% of those are linked to community spread, which means that they don't know specifically where it started from. 16% of the outbreak that they're reporting, they can identify where that is. And as far as age distribution of folks that are actually getting COVID, of all the cases, 10% of those are kids from age 5 to 18. And I believe that number of the 10% shows you that, the school is, I think, a relatively safe place for the kids. They are practicing mitigation efforts there. So we can't wait to get them back. And, I know they're still here, but I know we're going to lose them. And I know that there's a lot of folks sad about that. So we are as well. And we're going to do the best we can to get back in person as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Perry. We'll start down at Center Grange. Ms. Sonovich, if you'd come over by the X where there's a microphone here, please.
Sure. We have had Halloween activities on October the 30th. The PTA provided some activities for us and crafts and a video from some of the families wishing us a happy Halloween, even though we couldn't do our big parade and things like that. We've had virtual parent-teacher conferences, and those seem to be very well received by the parents. They like the option of not having to come into the school and doing them virtually. And we've also had the Carnegie Science Center present a program that the PTA purchased for Center Grange and Todd Lane, and it was called Solar Quest, and the kids really enjoyed that last week. So we've been pretty busy, and we've also been getting ready for the move to virtual, so teaching the kids and the parents and getting everyone informed on how to do all of the things that they need to do from home. So it's been pretty busy at Center Grange.
Okay, good. Thank you. Move to Todd Lane. Saragotti.
This is probably going to mirror the exact same things. We had our Halloween party. The PTA provided us crafts. We also did a bingo and a trivia, and the kids got to dress up. So a little bit different this year because we didn't have volunteers. Mrs. Kosanovich talked about the Solar Quest. PTA provided that for us. It was our first virtual assembly. So it's the first time we did that virtually, which is kind of interesting. The kids really seem to like it. And also my teachers are just reviewing and preparing students for remote learning, going over the Google Meet and the Shobi and where everything is so that the kids are prepared for us to move forward on December 1st.
Wonderful. Middle school, Mr. Dolph, Ms. Hicks.
I'm in 6 tonight.
All right.
Just to echo what Mrs. Kosanovich and Ms. Farragotti said, our teachers and students are doing a wonderful job embracing the technology and getting used to what our new format looks like this year. We're preparing the students as they are moving to the total remote learning. They have been collaborating, the teachers, and innovating, and we're seeing some great things come from within the classroom. We have prepared our students to be college and career ready. So we have participated in several career readiness activities over the past month. Students participated in an energy and manufacturing career panel where they were able to hear from people who are actually in the field in our region for different manufacturing careers. Next week, we plan to have the students listen to a motivational career video from Joe Klimchak, who is the in-game host of the Pittsburgh Pirates, to expose them to more careers. We're also continuing with our SWIBIS program, our school-wide positive behavior, trying to get the students involved both virtually and in person. We've started some of our small groups, and we continue to reward those incentives both with the students in person and virtually. So things are going well at the middle school.
All right. High school.
Just quickly.
Trivakova can't hide in the back over there.
Pardon me?
Trivakova can't hide in the back.
Yes.
Because they might hide too.
Some of the things are going on in other buildings, although we didn't have a Halloween get together, obviously, either. But we finished our 9 weeks. Our kids have done, like as I mentioned earlier, a really good job with a lot of the mitigation efforts that they put forth here. And they're learning to do really well virtually. Mr. Vakovican does a great job keeping up with those kids that are working virtually, making sure they're logging in, doing the things they're supposed to do on time. But so far, so good at the high school. And I don't see an issue with the high school moving forward as we go in after Thanksgiving with the virtual learning. I think it'll be a pretty smooth transition. Our teachers are prepared to do it. And I think that our students are capable and used to this type of model because most of those students are in and out on a regular basis. Monday, come one day, don't come the next day, et cetera. So I think that's going to work out well for our kids at the high school. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Mr. Sircone?
As you guys are aware, fall sports have concluded with the exception of football. We have the semifinal game in the States tomorrow with a possible trip to Hershey next Friday. As Mr. O'Neill said earlier, we have completed all of our fall exit interviews. We conducted 6 on Tuesday and 1 just today. All of them went well, and we'll have that in the January board meeting. Winter sports technically begin tomorrow, which is November 20th. As of now, the WPIAL and the PIAA will continue as is, but with the pandemic, things can change as early as tomorrow. They can change next week. So we are getting our coaches there. We've had their meetings and followed the same protocols that we did in the summer and the fall. So they're ready to go. And that's all I have for athletics.
Sam, is there any truth to for these winter sports that the athletes have to wear some form of a mask?
The mask mandate is what it is right now. We're trying to get, I know the PIAA has sent a phone call, a letter to try and get some clarification on that. As of right now, we have to follow what they say with the masks. But during the competition, and I know Pete had some more stuff on it, so I'm going to defer to him.
Yeah, I can answer that. There are, right now, the way the mask order is worded, it would suggest that athletes would be required to wear masks during competition. Previously, it was only on the sidelines and then not while actually competing. PIAA has said that they don't support that and that they would like further clarification, but as it's written, they don't support the wording of the order. They've encouraged schools to work with their attorneys to discuss if some of the athletes would fall under some of these exemptions that are within the mask mandate. There's an exemption for wearing the mask if you would create or exacerbate a medical condition. It stands to reason that there's a good question is to ask what that effect would have on kids doing significant physical activity while their mouths are covered like this. So it's a potential exemption there. Also, there's an exemption for if it would create an unsafe condition while performing a task. So I had some conversations with Nick today about my feelings on this and whether or not, it's required.
So a real decision hasn't been made yet.
We're hoping that there's a little better clarification forthcoming from the state that's going to not have to require us to interpret this so closely.
If I'm a basketball player or a wrestler, I would or wouldn't have to wear it.
I could make an argument that you wouldn't, that it's not safe.
Okay, but they can dictate and say you do have to wear it.
No one, there's really no enforcement for this right now. Now they're saying that they can enforce it people are saying the Department of Health is saying that there is enforcement because it is an order. I don't know if PIAA is going to enforce it simply because what they came out and said, how they don't support it. I'm not sure what they're going to do. So again, we're hoping. I'll also tell you that today it came out in the paper that the Steelers have been exempted from having to wear masks on the field. So take that for what you will. I don't know if that extends to the Eagles and Pitt and Penn State as well.
Sam, one question. Have you heard any rumors? Your ear's always to the ground pretty well. You hear all the rumors. Is there anybody thinking about cutting back on schedules or anything?
There are some schools that have come out just as early as yesterday and today that some are going to suspend until further notice. But then the rest of them are going as planned.
So as of right now, we're in good shape.
As of right now, we are in good shape, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Succumb, as you know, the CJ Betters tournament has been canceled, but speaking to each of the school districts, we want to guarantee the 10 boys schools 2 games as well as the 4 girls schools. You know that obviously our 5 games are going to be here.
Correct.
For the boys. The 2 girls games are going to be in Monaca, which they'll be spread out apart, a couple hours between each game to get people in, parents, whatever, according to guidelines, and then getting them out. At some point, if it looks like we're going to pull this off, because I personally think it's going to end up being canceled if I'm a betting man. But if we're able to pull this off, I'm going to have to sit down with you and probably Mr. McCreary, because we want to make sure that we're meeting all the guidelines for hosting an event like this, what we have to do.
Yep. And there has been talk about tournaments and stuff like that, but nothing's become official. I can't tell you in the sport of wrestling, there have been several tournaments that we were going to that have already been canceled.
Okay.
Scrimmages, and usually they're a mega scrimmage with a lot of teams, which makes sense for those schools to cancel, but nothing in basketball to this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Sparks?
Our special education teachers are busy with a lot of paperwork right now, doing progress reports. They're also finishing up their data collection on any potential compensatory services we may need to provide for students as a result of the school closure previously in the spring. As far as gifted goes, we did have academic games, propaganda competition that was held virtually. So everybody at Central Valley was in a room with mitigation efforts, participating with other schools through virtual means. And I would like to thank our health department for all of the work that they're doing with all of the contact tracing and mitigation efforts, as well as the work that they're doing to provide meals and things for our families in need. And I know that they're working on getting things ready for the holidays and Christmas season as well. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Brooks, I have a question. With the virtual going on, okay, with the learning support youngsters, did they have to redo? Did you meet with parents to redo IEPs?
We revised all IEPs earlier in the school year to be prepared for this. So IEPs have been written for synchronous learning and for in-person learning. So that has been taken care of.
And everything's good with that? I mean, no.
Yeah, all of our services will be provided as they would be in school. They're going to look a little different because we have to do it through the virtual means, but occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, hearing, learning support, those things will all continue.
Now, with those, any youngsters, if when we go virtual, will they have to come in at all?
That would be determined individually by IEPs. If we would have a case where something couldn't be meaningfully implemented as written in the IEP, then that could be a possibility.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Cafeteria, Ms. Hills?
So nothing too new in the cafeteria. So far, we are moving in upward direction with our participation. Considering enrollment the way that it is, if kids actually in the building, we're on the right track, which is really encouraging. Even with a pandemic, we will have our turkey and bows. We had that yesterday and today at the elementary and the high school level. So the kids still had a holiday, which was really nice. And we are preparing a plan going forward for the full virtual feeding. Those communications will be coming out this weekend. So parents will have some information on that as well.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Zaritsky, did you stop in?
No, I got knocked off this list.
For turkey and bows.
Yeah, Daphne, if you don't mind, explain maybe quickly to the public and to the board that, you know, our intent is, and I know you brought this up, but our intent is to feed families while we are virtual, and the whole concept of we can provide for the 5 days or up to the 7 days based on that they don't have to come back every day. Like, you want to maybe just briefly bring some.
That feeding them, Nick, is that feeding them here or takeout?
Takeout.
All takeout.
Yes. So we're going to be providing a curbside service. We'll be open Monday through Friday. We're still nailing down the times, but we're looking at something outside of school hours. So we're not affecting classroom or instruction at all. The kids will be late to class. We're trying to stay out of that window to help make it more accessible to
Now, will that be
working as well.
Breakfast and lunch?
Yes.
Both.
Breakfast and lunch as well as weekend meals. So families can come in and grab a bulk set. They don't have to come in every day like they did in the spring. It'll include all of the components. We'll still follow the offer versus serve model. So if they don't want something, they can refuse it. Or if they want the complete meal, they can take that as well. So that'll all be in our communications for this weekend.
Okay. Any other questions in regards to that? It'll be on the website.
Sending out all calls. I'll do flyers. We'll have the whole shebang.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Dad.
Mr. Miller, you have anything besides Prime?
Yeah, my department, including my technology specialists, spent the past few days getting communication out to the teachers, getting communication out to the principals to share with their kids and parents regarding reminding them of all the resources we have online to prepare them for fully online. And I've had technology specialists in the buildings answering any last minute questions teachers may have before the Thanksgiving break. So just getting ready for fully online.
All right.
Elaine,
do you have anything to add?
Sorry, I'm sorry. Ed, do you want to remind folks about and you may have said it and I apologize, about, the parent resource page, the student resource page?
Yeah, so front page on the website, we have a parent student resource page. It's a fully dedicated website to provide how-to videos and how-to documents for all the different programs that we use in the classroom, including Google Meet, Shobi, Notability, various things regarding the iPad. Most questions we get from parents and students can be answered just by looking at that page, but obviously we're always available as well to answer questions. There's also a form on that page right on the front for students to submit help requests, so that we can provide technical support, whether it's going to be a drive-through technical support once we're fully virtual, or we can help them remotely over the phone. So it's right on the front of the district site, and links will be added to the building pages as well here in the next couple of days.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
All right. Board member comments. Start with Mr. Ross.
First of all, going remotely next week, I'd be remiss if I didn't say up to this point that all the staffs in the Central Valley area here, that what a great job they have done in dealing with our parents and youngsters that we're servicing here in school. And kudos to Mr. Miller for having a state-of-the-art setup for us with the virtual learning. And a lot of it, I would like to really congratulate our teaching staff, because they're in the trenches every single day with the youngsters in the classroom, with the masks on the whole day, and doing the job that they're doing, being dedicated to the position and the profession that they selected as a profession. And everything that I'm hearing, that the job that they're doing in the classroom is great. So, to all the staffs and especially to our teaching staff.
Thank you. Mr. Bloom.
I concur with Mr. Ross's comments. Everyone's done a great job. Keep it up, stay safe, and have a very safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Ambrose.
Just an FYI to everybody, including the food staff. Mr. Zaritsky, our board president, and I think Mr. Dolph will agree to this, he was the turkey and bows champ. And I believe you ate 8 meals in a sitting of turkey and bows until you were beat by somebody.
I don't know about that.
I don't see who could have beat that. I watched.
The scoop sizes were different. They start cut back in the cafeteria, funds, everything.
I know somebody in my house that had 9 and he went through 3 lunch periods.
Millie must have retired shortly after.
But please, any student that wants to challenge him to a turkey and bows eat off, let's do it.
A heck of a thing to be remembered by, Mr. Zaritsky. You know that.
But it was good.
Obviously.
I'm not ashamed having my picture taken in the yearbook with Millie either. So thank you for that. And now everybody. Dr. Eunice.
I just would like to say happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe.
Mr. O'Neill.
Congratulations to everybody in the administration for the super job you did over this first term. Our rates have been surprisingly low compared to others. It's just a shame that we have to go virtual now. Hopefully we can get back on track soon. Thanks again.
Mr. King.
Don't have anything. Thank you.
Mr. Moad.
I know it's repetitive, but I don't think it can be said enough, the job that our people here in the district, our students and our community members have done to mitigate the spread of this. And the amount of work is just staggering that I see that's being done in our district. And I can't say enough about the people doing it. So thank you all for all that you're doing.
Bill Castro.
I just want to again thank everybody again. Great job. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and be safe.
Okay, only one comment that I have before the public comments, there's only, I believe one, is that I do think that during these unprecedented times, what has helped me, and then hopefully it's helped the board and the staff is putting a structure in, a plan in, and following it, that we have, it gives us some clear direction. And the plan is what directed us into making the decision to go virtual, because there was something in place. And hopefully that same structure is going to pull us back out and give the parents the same option that they had at the beginning to continue to choose. You know, I don't like the decision, but I think it's the right thing to do right now. I think it's the right thing to do with the time of year, with the holidays, a lot of interaction. And I'd like to see this slow down. And I don't want to see us be part of continuing to spread. I want to see us be part of mitigating it. So we'll move on to the last public comment that is in that I see here. Sarah Kaminsky at 1035 Hillview Drive in Monaca. And it seems to be a comment of, I want to thank everyone for how well the virtual parent-teacher conferences went. I have children in kindergarten and fifth grade, and both were easy. I think we should continue the virtual each year as it helps with schedules and allows great conversations. Thank you. And it goes to some of the points that the principals and administration has said. And I think that some of these things are actually good, what has come out and forced us to better utilize the technology that we have. So with that,
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Bloom.
For Mr. Highmiller. The game tomorrow night, is it going to be streamed? How's it going to be streamed?
Football game tomorrow night will be streamed by The Trip, I believe. The Trip. It's a PIA game, so they have full control over how the streams work. It's not something that we're allowed to go do ourselves. They have to do it. Do I have it? I think it's on the website, but I'll move it to the top Friday morning.
I've had trouble keeping the thing viewable.
Yeah, since the Whitfield game, I think all the Whitfield games have been on The Trip.
Yeah.
Trip Live does a really nice show. It doesn't announce
Yeah.
it. It does. It's just like watching on television.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. One last comment. I thought that for sure Mr. Ross would have sent the kudos out to the football team for the congratulations on the Whippeals, wishing the best of luck, moving on through the playoffs and into the States. So
Thought about that, but I didn't want anybody to think that's all we were about.
no, it's big. I mean, you look at everything that's gone on to sit there and stay focused and overcome what's going on here. I think it just shows a lot about the school, about the district, about the kids, about everything that every board member's talked about, the commitment that we have towards each other. And it's just a testament to it. So on that, if there's no other comments, Mr. Ambrose?
No,